Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to FRL. Goodness me, we got caught completely off guard. We're getting into qualifying already. My name is James Hay, going to be taking to the live stream, of course, as always, here on a Tuesday night. Joining me in the commentary box is FRL Yuri. We will do, of course, the formal introductions in just a second, of course, but it has been, unfortunately, a year since this man here passed away. It is, of course, Mad Sabi Anderson. A year since he had a very tragic heart attack at home by himself. Unfortunately passed away as a result. He was an absolute avid member of our FRL community, always sadly missed by every day that goes by as well. And Mad, I'm sure, will be watching the action here tonight from up above and hopefully going to be blessing our drivers here in FRL F1 tonight as we go for the Chinese Grand Prix. But as a mark of respect and as a mark of our respect as well to Mad and to the gratitude and determination and attribution that he gave towards FRL, we are now going to conduct a minute's silence on his behalf and now on the league's behalf as well. Just going to try and time this right because we are still getting drivers loading into the lobby. So I do want to time this right. And of course, the first minute of qualifying will be in silence. Nobody will be going out on track as a result. But we are now about to conduct the minute silence. As soon as we load into the lobby, we will mute ourselves and, of course, get ready for our minute silence, which will start when we load in right about now. And that was a beautifully conducted minute silence. Apart from Bunty, he did cause the yellow flag in Sector 1. I think he might have forgot potentially in terms of the 1 minute silence. But we are here now for the Chinese Grand Prix. And of course, Mads will forever be in our thoughts here in FRL. Coming into tonight, though, obviously Jensen taking the win last week. Mr. Yuri, I'm going to come across to you. How on earth are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very good. Very happy to see everyone staying in for the 1 minute silence, of course. Very sad, but yeah, it's a good tribute to Matt and to his family.
Definitely so, and I can speak certainly from my behalf as well. Me and Mads really didn't see eye to eye in FRL. We always argued about certain things, whether we should be doing things right, whether we should be doing things wrong, but in the end, those arguments were for the good of the league, and FRL is in a very good place now, and really because of him and because of his determination and gratitude that he showed to the league in the past as well. First guys are out on track as well here for the Chinese Grand Prix. My first experience of China since F1 21, believe it or not, which is going to be absolutely incredible to see. As I say, Bunty is the first man out on track. He's running down in towards the right-hander of turn number 13. We would have had a track map. I don't have a track map on me, however, to show you guys, which is unfortunate, but Bunty now coming around the final corner on the run toward the line. We're right on board then with this lap of Bunty running down in toward the right-hander of turn number 1. This really swirling, snaking section through the first sector, coming in toward the right-hander of turn number 1, and then through the double right in fact of turn number 2, and then down the hill, of course, in towards turn number 3. Famous moment for me around here in China. Was it Jaime Alguersuari or Sebastian Buemi losing all 4 wheels on their car running down in towards the hairpin? That was in practice in 2011 around here. Bunty 24.3 in the first sector, not looking too bad at all. Of course, China not on the calendar for next year's F1 Grand Prix racing because of their COVID policies and China's COVID policies as well, which of course, where every other country, every other society in the world has opened up, China still oppressing their people at this stage with the COVID policy, and that's why F1 took the decision to obviously not go there as a result. Bunty, though, doesn't care about policies. 52.1 in the middle sector, coming into the left-hander of turn number 12, through the right-hander now of turn number 12, then to the right-hander of turn number 13. Tell it's been a long time since I'm commentating around here. I'm getting corners mixed up. I'm run down in towards the end of the back straight. Of course, the second DRS zone that is on this track. And the first one, of course, being down the start of the straight. As Bunty now comes down in towards the right-hander of turn number 13. Hard braking in towards turn number 13, then through the kink of 14, and then through the final corner of turn number 15. Bunty looking very good, I've got to say, on this lap. He now comes in through the final corner on the run towards the line, and Bunty's going to set a 1:32.2 to start off the night. Not a bad lap, actually, that.
No, it's a very good banker, 32.2. So we will probably see 31 points, maybe 4 for the first lap, maybe 5 if we can. That's a 32.1 from Jensen, and I don't think we will see a 31.5 now. Maybe a bit too high.
You never know, Jensen's only 6 cents off a 131.5, and obviously track evolution is going to be really key around this track, so I think you're not too far from ballpark, really, in terms of what we could get in terms of pole position. Macho just comes in with a 31.8, so I think he is online, certainly with the 131.5 in mind. Dundee coming through the final corner, he might go into second with this lap, on the run towards the line, doesn't, goes fourth, 32.3, but a good lap time nonetheless there by the resident Hungarian. Macho, though, out on top, Jensen second, Bunty there in third. Ruti also on a lap, he's on that set of soft compound tyres. The only driver, interestingly, that went on a set of mediums is FRL Charlie. He's down in 8th position now, as Rocco has just gone 4th.
Yeah, and I think that's Hawk who has a spin, so that's unfortunate for him. But yeah, Charlie on the mediums, I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, I'd rather spare a set of mediums than a set of softs for the race.
Yeah, and obviously with the fix that recently came out in terms of the patch update, obviously the medium compound tyres, they can use that set of mediums still in compound of qualifying. However, I believe there was a glitch on that tyre. That's why you saw the majority of drivers going for a set of soft compound tyre, as is the case here. Ruti coming through the final corner is looking not too bad. As soon as I say that, he's just invalidating through the final corner. Would have been a 32.770, and it would have put him into 6th position. Would have put him actually 8th position, because Papine has just gone into 7th there as well. So good luck from him, and MedTC has also gone 3rd. But it's Macho currently 0.3 of a second ahead of Jensen. Interesting to watch out for, because Jensen recently has hit form. He had absolute wretched luck, I've got to say, in PSGL last night, which I, of course, covered the top tier last night. So Jensen had wretched luck there. In WR, he's been doing very well as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually set a quicker lap time than Macho come the end of this qualifying session.
Yeah, I mean, Jensen, he is always a one to surprise, and a 31.8 by Macho, I think that could be easily beaten by Jensen. But yeah, we also need to wait what Macho can do, because he can set 31 low, and maybe Jensen can't even get to that.
Yeah, maybe Jensen can't even get to that indeed. Macho, I think, has been channeling his inner Montana, potentially, in terms of the lap times. I think that has been set around here. Of course, both in the same esports team, and both, of course, I think, are going to be competing in the 24 Hours of F1 event, which, with Mads' tribute obviously going on at this stage, and obviously here at Start, we are celebrating the life of Mads a year since his passing. I can announce that the 24 Hours of F1 are, of their charities this year, one of them is for the Brain Cancer Foundation, with Vadim Tshekov, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, who died of brain cancer, got diagnosed with it only a couple of years ago, sitting in silence, unfortunately. The other one being the British Heart Foundation as well. And the British Heart Foundation really does go into all sorts of work that is in tribute to our own Mads here in FRL, and it's fantastic, I think, that we can get to that. That is going to be on the 17th and 18th of December, and I might or might not be commentating on that. So there you go.
And let's see, is anyone on the lap right now? I don't think so. So we are waiting for the first man that will set the lap. I think that's the Haas of Bunty. Then, yeah.
Is it Chris? No, Chris is ahead of him actually out on track. He's going slow. Oh, he's run out of fuel. No wonder he's going slow. He's run out of fuel coming through the middle sector. So yeah, Chris is not on a lap. I think you're right. Bunty is the first man back out on a lap. Currently there in third position. Has been doing well in the PSGL F8 Championship, the Assist Championship, of course, in PSGL. Bunty has been doing very well there. Can he continue on that good form tonight? He's there in third, behind Jensen by a tenth of a second.
Yeah, that's... Oh, where did my... yeah, that's... I think for Bunty, for his perspective, that's a very good lap compared to the top two. And if he can keep this off, if he can set a good lap, he can maybe even go higher than Jensen.
Yeah, definitely so. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Ivo has just gone onto the lap. He's let him Ivo through. Ivo currently not setting a lap time at this stage. Currently, no lap time set. Charlie, Lou, Hawk will be aiming for that sort of area. Coming to the right-hander of turn number 2, then to the left-hander, diving down in towards turn number 3. Parrot there, by the way, saying in the chat, shame I won, I forgot his one and only driver this weekend, but yeah, we can't do anything about it. Let's go ahead. Yeah, of course. Repercussions, if that is the case, will be given, of course, out at the end of the race, certainly in the scuba room. But Ivo through the first sector, not looking too bad, looking competitive, certainly in that first sector. Bunty is also looking quite good in that first sector as well. He's about 5-6 seconds off him at this stage out on track, so it is going to be a bit of a quick hot foot really between Ivo and Bunty, but it's Macho out on top, Jensen second, Bunty there in third. We are more than halfway through qualifying and halfway still to go in qualifying. And speaking of Bunty, he's just gone coming through turn 8.
Yeah, I think he has a moment he just lost his rear there and he's spun, and that's very unfortunate for Bunty, which means he can probably do one more lap. It depends if he has enough fuel.
Yeah, he will do. I think he will. He might come back in the pit lane, as you say. With 7.5 minutes to go, he can get a good 2, maybe even 3 runs in towards the end of this session. So Bunty might be out of place compared to everyone else. Remains to be seen. Somebody that isn't, though, Ivo. He's looked quite good in this middle sector. The Ferrari, the sole Ferrari out on track, now coming in towards the final couple of corners. There was a spinner as well from a Red Bull in the background. I have a feeling that might have been Dundee in the background as Ivo comes to the line, goes 9th. We'll see if that was Dundee who's spun through the final corner. I think it might have been. He is just preparing for his outlap. Luckily that was on an outlap. Luckily he wasn't going on to a full run at this stage. Rocco was purple in the middle sector, 51.8 through the middle sector. Bunty and invalidated. Jensen has backed up his lap as well. Matey C I think has done the same, but Rocco purple in the middle sector, 51.8. I think that's not really close to what we saw from Macho in his middle sector, but Rocco's not looking too bad in the down in towards turn 13.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Lou, and Lou is going, I think, pretty fast right now. But yeah, Rocco, he is going to the last corner, 8 tenths up. Matty C, 31.8, that's a good lap by him. But Rocco up to the line, it's a 32.0, so P3 for him.
Rocco disappoints me every time. I think I go on board with the Medsi C out on top. Only 100th clear of Macho. Macho, you could argue, though, has got a huge lap potentially in him. You're on board with Lou as well. He's on the run through the final corner, on the run toward the line. He's going to put it up there. I think he might go 7th of this lap. No, goes 10th, 32.556, so only a tenth of a second off Zero, Papine and Keki, to be respectful there. So Lou there in 10th. Hasn't shown the good pace that we've seen from him in previous seasons. Obviously, as things go here in FRL, the standard of driving improves, and Lou, I think, has just been catched up slightly. Of course, China is a new track on this game, but at the minute, Lou, 10th position, struggling in this early stage in qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, from Lou's perspective, I know he has, I think, an injury or something on his foot.
Brake pedal.
So yeah, it's he has that injury, and this Sunday he had a bit of problem with it. So yeah, I think that affects it. But yeah, the grid is getting faster and faster, and he needs to defend his championship. And if it stands like now, how it is, he won't be doing that.
Yeah, he won't be doing that indeed. Jensen is coming in toward the final couple of corners, on the run toward the line now with Jensen. This is looking like a huge lap from the championship leader. Not quite huge enough though. 31.9 in the end. That was his second run on that sort of soft compound tyres. Technically his third lap, if you obviously take away his out lap, and now his in lap will be 4 laps on that set of soft compound tyre. Keki was on a lap, I think. I think he's actually backed off the running down the straight, so Keki is not on a lap, I don't think, at this stage. In the new NLR team, I've got to say as well, FRL Ruti right down the back end of the field. He normally is quite quick around here. I've seen very good pace from Ruti in the past around here in China. In fact, I'll even go as far as to say I think he won around here the last time we came here in FRL. So if that is to be believed, and I'm not making that up as we go along, Ruti could have an outside chance of pole position, but 34.8, MegTC on a 31.8, Ruti is going to find 3 seconds from somewhere.
Yeah, I think the last time I saw Ruti was 2 seasons ago here in F1. And he was fighting for poles and fighting for wins, and a 34.8 is nothing compared to MegTC, but he could be sandbagging, of course. He could be.
I think he might be. I think he might be. The Finn there down in 17th, of course, joined the FBR team as recent as a couple of weeks ago. Good to see him, of course, in FBR. They are, of course, the defending champions in the SRC, in the EML event, I should say, not the SRC event. I think that went, in the end, to also FBR. So I was actually right in what I was saying. Chris is on the lap. He's 2 tenths down out of the first sector, now coming to the middle sector, misses the double left there at turns 9 and 10. Now comes in towards the end of the middle sector, and he's 4.5 tenths down, so he's not on a good lap here at all, is Chris, the other Dutchman, I think, in the lobby. We've got quite a few Dutchmen, I think, in the lobby here tonight, that is for sure. But MegTC, Macho, Jensen, currently in the top 3, and MegTC only holds that by 100th of a second. The last time I saw MegTC around here, F1 Esports Challengers, and he DNF'd.
I mean, then it changed a lot for him, but yeah. 100th of a second between him and Macho, so I think this could be a very close fight for pole position.
It definitely will be. I think Macho, if he can put a really good lap time in fact, I don't normally do this while we've got no drivers on an outlap at this stage. I'm going to, if I can, look at MegTC's middle sector. Where am I going with this? I do not know. View lap times. There we go. 31.8, 27, 24.2, 27.5, 40.1 in all sectors. Macho on his lap, 24.3, 27.6, 39.8. So Macho, in the end, he must have made a mistake in that middle sector, because his middle sector, I think, was 3 tenths off MegTC, and he gained all of that back in that final sector. So if Macho can really put in a lap there, he could be on mid-31s quite easily, and MegTC might be just left in his wake, because Papine, I think, was just starting a lap along with Zero.
Yeah, I think, yeah, Zero the first one to set the lap of these two. Let's see what of course, both driving for CPI now. Papine recently signed with them, but Zero in the first sector, it's 24.3, so 1 tenth off. That will already get him to the time of Dundee.
Yeah, it's a good first sector there by Zero. Pardon me, I thought I was going to hurt on street. That wouldn't have been good. Zero, though, 24.3 in the first sector, not looking too bad at all. Papine, full retrospect, didn't catch his first sector split. I think he's actually backed off, if I'm not mistaken, on that lap. So Papine, I think, has backed off. Zero now comes to the double left of turns 9 and 10, then in toward the left-hand of turn of 11 and toward the end of the middle sector split. And a 52.1 in the middle sector, only 3 tenths off Macho's middle sector combined. So Zero there is looking to try and go toward the upper end of maybe even 5th position ahead of Bunty at this stage. He's got to find 2 tenths per second from somewhere. If he had somebody slipstreaming him down the straight, that would have been the gain, I think, really been attributed in terms of his lap. But Zero now coming down in towards the right-hander of turn number 13 has looked very, very circumspect on this lap. Very, very good indeed. As he now comes through the right-hander of turn 14, then to the left-hander of turn number 15. He will reach the line, of course, after he comes through the left-hander of turn 15 on the run toward the line. And Zero is going to go 5th, I think, for this lap. He doesn't. He goes 7th in the end. Only improved his position. It didn't improve his position. Only improved his lap time in the end.
Yeah, I think he lost a bit there, and now Papine, I don't know if he has enough fuel. I think he has, so he can do another lap. So yeah, not very good, very unfortunate for Zero that he isn't improving his lap.
Yeah, just looking through, I think Rocco was just starting up on a run as well. It's difficult because there is a glitch. Jensen's starting up on a lap as well. Macho also starting on one. MegTC is already on one, and he's coming through the end of the first sector split ahead of those guys. So MegTC, Addison compared to everyone, 24.229, comparing that to first second was 22.226, not too bad at all from MTC, or 24.226, I think. I said 22 instead, but MTC coming to the left-hand of turn 7. Oh, a little bit sketchy there. Ivors came across the line and gone 12th. Charlie there down in 16th position on that turn of medium compound tyres, which is going to be interesting because he does get that free choice of tyre, as in fact as everyone else here. As MTC coming through the middle sector, split 51.8 is respectful. There was a spinner though in the middle sector, and I have a feeling that's one of the Red Bulls. I think that might be Dundee.
Yeah, it is Dundee as Jensen. Oh, Jensen! Oh! And that's a big crash.
Oh, and Dundee's been disqualified for going the wrong way in the middle sector as well. MedTC, 800s up in the middle sector, but Macho responds. 51.9 in the middle sector. Dundee has been disqualified from the session. Might get a restart in terms of that. What happened with Jensen quickly?
Yeah, Jensen, I think he just lost the rear end on the exit there, and he just spun and crashed into the wall, and that was disqualifying over. But MedTC up to the line, to improve.
Barely improved, but Macho was on a big middle sector. Is he now going to improve? As long as he improves 200ths of a second, he's on pole position right here. Keki, by the way, has gone 4th, 32 flat. Good lap time from him. Macho now around the final corner, on the run toward the line, through the final corner. Oh, he gets caught on the outside curb. Not enough. Macho, 31.894 is not enough. In fact, I think he set the same lap time as MedTC on his final run. We've only got Chris to come to the line, but he's backed off. He's into the pit lane. MedTC, for the first time, I think, in China, is on pole position. Macho there in second, and championship leader Jensen, after that crash, as you mentioned, down there in third. Very, very close, and I've got to argue, if Macho didn't make that mistake out the final sector, out the final corner, I think he would have got MedTC, but in the end, MedTC, the Finn, is out on top. From the Dutchman, Macho there in second, and only a 10th and a half covering the top 3 with Jensen there, filling out the end of the top 3. Keki there in 4th with Rocco in 5th. Bunty, really respectable lap from him. Ruti somehow 7th. We didn't see that lap time from him. 32.290 in the end. Zero there in 8th, along with Lou in 9th, and then Papine rounding off the top 10. Chris in 11th, Ivor in 12th, Ryan in 13th, Kelly 14th, Hawk 15th. Charlie on that set of mediums didn't really get a valid lap time in, and Dundee, of course, has been disqualified from the session right down at back of the field, driving the wrong way. But MedTC out on top, Macho in second, Jensen then third. Really exciting race to behold, I think, coming up.
Yeah, I didn't expect MedTC to be on pole, but as you said, Macho in that final corner on the exit, he just clipped the curb there, and I think he lost all his time there. And I also saw something that I don't think we will do a restart.
No.
For Dundee's disqualification. So yeah.
Yep, Dundee saying in the chat in Discord, I had cold tyres, and by the way, I got my penalty. The game disqualified me, so we got a penalty, I think, for blocking potentially, and the game's just disqualified him. So that's what's happened there. And I think also, if I'm not mistaken, there was a McLaren that had spun in the middle sector, and I think that might have been CPI Chris, if I'm not mistaken. So I think Chris had spun, and that is why I think the game has disqualified him, because there's 2 parked cars basically on the circuit, and he, unfortunately, with the coding in the game, is the one that comes out, unfortunately, on top in terms of a disqualification.
Yeah, I think Macho was behind Chris going into his final lap, and I think he had a bit of dirty air in the first sector because he was right behind him because of the time, and he just spun right in front of him. So yeah, that could be the problem for Dundee's disqualification.
Chris also saying, by the way, in the Discord chat, P11 with 10 minutes of time trial, I'll take it. So I think he will certainly take that in terms of 11th position. All the ones for him, maybe looking for first position in this race, who knows. But here in China, we're now on the formation lap here. Once again, MTC out on top, Macho there in second, Jensen there in third. Looking at the compound of tyres that everyone has decided to go on, Papine and Ivo and Hawk, all on a set of medium compound tyres. Everyone else on a set of hards, and apparently it's a one-stop strategy, lap 12 to 16, from a set of mediums to a set of hards. I think probably that's a couple of laps out. I would certainly say drivers pinning from around lap 8, lap 9, as opposed to lap 12 to 16. And everyone on a set of hard compound size, they'll at least be getting to the halfway stage, and then pin in probably around lap 15, lap 16, I suspect.
Yeah, I think everyone on the hards, I think that's a good call, you know. And I'm really. Oh, did somebody just spin? I think it's Bunty who spun on the formation lap.
I think it did. I think he did.
Yeah.
Where is he? There he is. Yeah, he did spin. He's right down towards the back end of the field. Spunky, whatever we called him last week. But Bunty, we're not just
There goes
naming
Bunty.
the other Haas has gone up in Ryan.
What happened there?
I think he got caught on the outside curb, I think. He's recovered the car. Luckily, there's no damage on the formation lap, by the way. If anybody is tuning into this race for the first time, there is no damage on the formation lap, so therefore, drivers don't have to come in for pit lane. Obviously, won't delay the start as a result. And somebody is creating very creative track limits there in the background. I have a feeling that might have been Hawk.
Let me see, Hawk. Yeah, it could be, but yeah. As I want to say, Pepijn on the mediums. I'm really looking forward to his drive through the field, as everyone in front of him is on the hard compound tire.
Definitely so. Zook, by the way, in the YouTube chat saying, did Bunty actually forget the minute silent? Hashtag Zook for director campaign getting stronger. Hashtag head campaign, potentially? I don't know. Metis out on top, Macho second, Jensen there in third. Yuri, I'm going to come across to you. Who's your top three?
Matt TC is going to win at Macho P2 and let's say Rocco P3.
Very interesting stuff indeed. Med TC has been disqualified from formation lap, so therefore his car has been put in a very untroubled position. He's actually off his grid line. Says he's disqualified actually on the right hand side, but we are now, hopefully, lights out and away we go, and I've got a timing glitch already off the line. MedTC gets the good start, but Macho is much stronger and he leads down in towards turn number one. So Macho leads for MedTC in second, who has got a bit of a glitch, I think, potentially in terms of the timings, or certainly I have in terms of the timings. Keki there in second, MedTC in third, Rocco there in fourth, trying to go all the way around the outside. There's MedTC trying to go down the inside of Keki. Everyone, I think, is clean through in the background. There's a Ferrari running out wide, and Ivo, certainly a spinner in the background. I think that's Zero that's been tagged, I think maybe with Dundee, I should say, but Macho leads. MedTC in second goes very, very deep though, in towards turn number 5, and just about as a spinner in the background, and there's Jensen, championship leader as round, coming out of turn number 5. Would you believe it? Jensen's bad luck continues from last night in PSGL, and he's down all the way toward the back of the field. There's a huge crash in the background. I think that's Ruti and Pepijn and Dundee, and I think Lou has been involved in that as well.
Oh my god, it's pure chaos behind Ruti and Pepijn going off, Jensen going off. Now Ryan and Lou, I don't know how many people got collected, I think around 7 or 6, so yeah, a lot of chaos. There's another one, I think that's for Pepijn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, Macho out on top, Keke P2, and then Rocco in P3.
MedTC chasing down Rocco all the way down in towards the right-hander of turn number 13, down in towards this slight hairpin at the end of the back straight. Rocco beginning to pull away though. Ivo's past Chris in the background. Charlie not close enough to the back of Pelly though, as per the timings on the left-hand side of my screen, which will fix coming up 3. Macho leads the way from Keki in second. Mercedes 1-2. Where have we seen this before in China? It is Macho out on top. Keki there in second. Rocco there in third. MedTC there in fourth. And a huge snap there from MedTC. He nearly got caught on the outside curb and now is under the pressure of Bunty, the PSGL F8 winner. In the background of shot, there is a yellow flag in the final second, and that is Pepijn that has gone again on that set of medium. So what was looking like a very good strategy call, in the end, is right down the back of the field. And in the end, actually, nobody is came into the pit lane bar Pepijn.
Yeah, I don't know why, because there was a lot of chaos. I expected a few more people going into the pits with some kind of damage than probably wing damage. But yeah, only Pepijn in the pits.
Charlie down the inside on a Pelly, coming in towards turn number 5, gets the job done, and Pelly's going to try and come back at him, but not quite close enough. And I think that battle actually spawned from the final corner on the first lap of the race. Charlie now back through on Pelly. He is through, and he's into 9th position. Pelly there in 10th, and Dundee there in 11th, with Ruti also getting a little bit of ground off the start as well, or actually lost a bit of ground off the start as well. The Macho leading the way, 1.7 seconds. Seems quite consummate, I think, out in front at this stage from him. Keki there in second. He can play wingman if both of them are in the same party. He can play wingman, of course, through his Mercedes teammate. But at the stage, as Dundee is spun coming through turn 13, Macho leads the way, Keki in second. Already the gap is 2 seconds. Whatever Macho was running in terms of their wings, I want a piece of them. He has used up a lot of EOS though.
Yeah, Macho has used up a lot of ERS, but Keke and Rocco are on around 50%, same for Matt to see. But yeah, 2.5 seconds ahead of his teammate. That's a very big gap, especially for F1.
Ruti spun coming out of turn number 13 as well, so Ruti ran plenty of spins here in China. It is a spin a la track, unfortunately, for these drivers. That yellow flag is still for Ruti, and Papine, I think, has also spun in the middle sector, so that's why we're seeing double yellow flags at two parts of the circuit. Matcha, though, 2.5 seconds. That gap is so big because he has used up the majority of his ERS, and I don't know what his plan is, to be honest here. He's gone very aggressive very early in this race, and we saw that in Bahrain last week, where he went very aggressive very early, but then saved his tyres towards the end. I think this time around, he's going too hard too early, and he's going to pay for it, probably come lap 8, lap 9, when the tyres really begin to go off.
Yeah, it's a very weird strategy, very... I don't think he's going to play the team game, of course. Keke behind, he could give him DRS, but for now, he is 2.8 seconds behind. And I think his plan is to get Keke, Rocco and Matty C battling with each other.
Yeah, definitely. So Hawk, by the way, on the back of Chris. Hawk there, the German, on the back of Chris there, the CPI man. There was a spinner, and that is, I think Ryan has spun. Yeah, Ryan had spun coming through the right-hander of the left-hander, actually, turn number 10 on the outside curve. Here comes Hawk on the back. He has gained 7 positions off the start. Chris has gained 4, Ivor's gained 6. In this mid-pack battle, Charlie's also gained 7 as well. The other Aston Martin going well there in 9th position. But the majority of positions gained are from both Aston Martins. Hawk and Charlie, 7 positions. Ivor has gained 6. Hawk has gained 7. Chris has gained 4. Ivor has gained 6. And Hawk right on the back of Chris, coming down in towards turn number 1. And Jensen right on the back of Kelly. Looks absolutely easy to the inside line. Gets the job done. Jensen back within the points. But for how long? Because Pelly was going to have a look there on the inside of turn number 1.
Yeah, I don't know what's Pelly. I think he wanted to give the place, he didn't want to fight, but then Jensen just took a very wide line. But yeah, Macho out of top, it's 3 seconds change, 3 seconds now.
It's really good, I think, in terms of the gap that he's got. But at this moment in time, I'm really, really unsure that he is going to get at least to the midpoint of this race, at least lap 14, lap 15, where I said, Macho, those tyres are going to be gone. Keke is holding back in terms of his ERS. Same with Rocco, same with MedTC. And I think more especially so Rocco, who's got 50% of ERS. MedTC's got about 38 and Keki's got around 32. So Rocco has saved a lot. He's in the middle of this group, basically, with Bunty also following on there in 5th and pulling away from Ivo and Sick, who will close on that set of medium compounded tyres. But it makes you wonder, really, has Macho gone too hard too early? I mean, he's got 0 ERS running down the straight, as we see. Bit of a graphics glitch on the left-hand side. I'm not sure if somebody rejoined the session there.
Yeah, I think it was. I think Pepijn rejoined and he has another spinner, and he doesn't want to get left now. That would be very bad for his race. But look at it, Dundee on Lou. Lou is not having the best race right now. Down the inside into the hairpin. Is it done? He has a bit of a moment there, but can Lou fight back? No. And Dundee into P13.
Yeah, Dundee into P13. I was on board with Chris there as well on the back of Ivo. Not quite close enough though to the back of him. Really tucked under the rear wing though, coming out of turn number 2. I thought he was going to have a cheeky lunge. Dundee, however, after getting that move done, has just spun. Or has just lost the position, certainly, to Lou, down in towards turn number 1. And in fact, it was a loss of position. So Lou through and he's into 13th. And Dundee there down in 14th position. But Chris hassling all the way back on the back of Ivo. Thought he was looking down the inside line there. That is Pepijn causing the yellow flags in the middle sector. And this is going to be potential chaos out on track because now he's a lap car. Now he's got Macho right behind him. This could be fortunate as Pepijn has actually just spun. I think coming through turn number 10, or is he just getting out of the way of everyone? I think he's getting out of the way of everyone, which is good stuff.
I don't know what's happening with Pepijn. It looks a bit twitchy. He doesn't seem to get out of the way of everyone as he's ghosting into Rocco right now, but it's really weird. I think he has something is done.
Yeah, I wonder if he's got maybe, I'm not sure if it's like a pedal problem or maybe a wheel problem perhaps, as Chris is right on the back of Ivo actually running down in towards turn number 13 once again. So I'll come back to that point in a second as Chris now saunters past Ivo to the inside line. Ivo will be nearly alongside, I think, into the corner. However, they've got two outbreaking themselves in the background. Jensen and Hawk, that was a good battle down in towards turn 13. And Jensen, in the end, championship leader, down, but not certainly out. He's through, he's into 8th, carving his way through the field, and that is what you expect from Jensen in a race like this. He is recovering very well so far, as Papine has retired, in fact, into the pit lane, so that is him done out of the race. And I think, to be honest, I don't blame him, as Ivor's back down the inside of Chris in towards turn number 2. Ivor tries to come across on him, so Chris tries to come across on Ivor, but in the end, Chris holds on. Ivor there in 7th. Good battle going on for 6th, though.
Yeah, Chris and Ivor are battling almost every lap right now. And oh, there's yellow flag. Is that Papine? Yes, that is Papine. But Ivor and Chris battling almost the whole race.
Yeah, definitely so as well. Macho, by the way, is 3.4 seconds ahead. He hasn't lost time, he hasn't gained time either. Staying very stagnant in front of this race. Pecky there in 2nd, Rockwell there in 3rd, TC there in 4th as well. Looking through the chat, by the way, I did see that Portugal was winning 1-0. Not with Ronaldo playing, of course, who was being dropped by Fernando Santos, who was, of course, the Portuguese manager. Not that we care about the football here in FRL, we should be focusing on the racing in front of us. Chris in 6th position, Ivor there in 7th, Jensen there in 8th, and Jensen has now got his next target hooked up right on the back of Ivor, and this, with Jensen, is looking very easy indeed. The Alpha Tauri, look at the speed he has got down the straight, and if he's not careful, he might just get onto the back of Chris, running down in towards the right-hander of turn number 13, but Jensen in the end, Ivor doesn't want to fight that, Jensen doesn't want to fight that either, and Jensen is through, and he's into 7th. And I have a feeling it's just a matter of time we see him up to 6th, because Chris is looking like a lame duck in front of him. Or Jensen makes a mistake, actually.
Yeah, Chris 3 seconds behind Bunty and Rocco. Rocco is looking very close at the back of Keke within 0.2 of a second. But yeah, Jensen, he now needs to fight his way back up in the field. That's yellow flag. I think that's Dundee.
Yeah. That's coming out the final corner. Dundee out of the final corner. As always, Ivor was side by side with Hawk in the background, actually. Hawk there on the back of him in towards turn number 5. And Hawk using his wits about him there. I thought he was going to go to the inside line. If he did, it would have been contact, and Hawk playing the safe game. He's got Charlie on the back of him. And if I was Hawk, honestly, I'd let through Charlie, because Charlie's on much fresher tyres at this stage compared to Hawk. So if I was him, as Ivor makes a mistake just in front of them, Ivor there in 8th, Hawk in 9th, Charlie in 10th. If I was Hawk, I'd have one eye in front, one eye behind, and try and let Charlie get onto the back. Because not only that, I think he's got slightly less ERS, which of course is going to be good, more for Charlie than for Hawk, who's got more ERS than him.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie, he is on that hard comfort now, but if you look at hard, he is very close behind Ivor. But those mediums, they will drop off. The same for Ivor, who is also on mediums.
Oh, here comes Jensen on the back of Chris. Oh, he's going to absolutely sail on by to the inside line in towards turn 13. And there's contact in the background. That's Ivor breaking way too late in the background. Left side unplate damage on the car. Chris is there into 7th. Hawk in the end is into 8th. And Ivor, to be fair, does get out of the way. He's coming in the pit lane. Fair play to Ivor. Could have easily messed up everyone in that. Pelly, as well, as now gaining position. Everyone else have gained position. But Jensen threw crucially into 6th, has already gapped Chris for a second because of that damage, and I wonder if Chris potentially might have picked up a bit of rear wing damage there as well in that race. Certainly a tap on the back, and that was all because of Ivor breaking late.
Yeah, I mean, Ivor, he just braked too late, but look at Macho, 5 seconds ahead of his teammate. The gap is getting bigger and bigger now.
How's it 5 seconds? I swear it was 3.4 like 2 laps ago. Dundee was tyres in the pit lane. How is Macho 5.1 seconds clear? Keki must have made some sort of mistake, surely. Actually, no. I think he's been defending off Rocco, and Rocco has been hassling them right on the back, and that's why the gap, because I've just spotted Keki's ERS. It's about 10%.
Yeah, I mean, Keki, he is playing the team game right now, 5 seconds behind his teammate. This could be a 1-2 for the team of Mercedes if they play this right.
It could be indeed, and of course it could be actually 1, 2, 3, 4 Mercedes run engines, of course, formerly McLaren Mercedes. I think now McLaren Mercedes, if I'm not mistaken, in F1. Rocco there in 3rd on the back of Keki. Hawk on the back of Chris is closing very quickly indeed to the back of him. I don't think those going to risk it for chocolate biscuit or bourbon or custard cream or whatever your taking fancy is in a biscuit, or a street waffle potentially. Hawk there on the back of Chris. Chris there still 7th, Hawk there in 8th, Charlie there in 9th.
Yeah, and looking at Matty C and Bunty, they're both making a little bit of a mistake. Matty C in the hairpin goes a bit too deep. Bunty clips the curb on the exit on at the last corner, so they need to stick with Rocco and Keki to get in the DRS. But Bunty 60% ERS, and that's a lot, especially for now in this time of the race.
Yeah, definitely so, indeed. One thing to notice, by the way, this is the first stream since the patch update that I've done. I know there was a high revving last night in PSGL. This is the first night, actually, we haven't got high revving engines, and to be honest, it is so much better. Just in terms of the audio, you can hear us more clearly as well. And everyone that is high revving, I think, is just high revving to try and get the exit out of corners rather than anything else. And Hawk on the back of Chris. Chris there is right under pressure from Hawk and the German. If he doesn't get this job done in 2 laps, I swear on God's green earth, he's probably not going to get the job done at all.
Yeah, and I think there was Pelly who spun, so Luna to P11, but yeah, can he make a move on Chris coming into the airplane? He needs a lot of speed here, but he just lacks it, and Chris will stay in P7.
Yeah, he doesn't use his ERS down the straight, Hawk, and that is why I think what could be a really easy move has turned into a more difficult move, and he's put himself in that position. Chris there in 7th hasn't got the strongest of pace. He's got he's got less ERS than Hawk at this stage as well. And Hawk, I think, as Rocco is up to 2nd, passing Keki. Didn't see that on that camera shot, but Rocco Thuni's into 2nd. Keki trying to back down on the inside line of turn number 2. Doesn't get the job done. Rocco Thuni's into 2nd. Keki there in 3rd. I wonder if Rocco would just absolutely sent it on the ERS, got the job done. He's into 2nd. I think he did, because his ERS is now 13%.
Yeah, I think he is pushing a lot now, 6.2 seconds behind Nacho. So if he wants to win this race, he needs to get on with it.
Zook, by the way, in the chat, in the YouTube chat, saying Nacho needs to finish the race quickly. Man's got somewhere to be at this rate. I think he does. 6.3 seconds ahead. He clearly got better things to do than absolutely sweat out FRL. But he is sweating it out in front, and it just looks absolutely easy. Those tyres have not fallen off, as I would have expected them to at least. And he's still finding the time to actually save up in his ERS, use up that ERS down the straight, and look at the gap he pulls. He's got so much better straight line speed than everyone else behind him. He doesn't really need to use any ERS, any DRS. Of course, he won't get DRS because he's 6.8 seconds out in front, but Macho is looking dominant. And I mean dominant, as Hawk, I think, has finally listened to the stream, has gone for the move on Chris down in towards turn number 13, and parks the car beautifully there. Hawk is Thuni's into 7th.
Yeah, Chris, he is going to fight it back. I wouldn't be surprised if he can get this move done into turn 1. Let's see, does he have the straight line speed in the slipstream? No, it's just that he is using a lot of PRS right now. And Rocco, he is also on 11% and Macho on 3. So all of the top guys, besides Bunty, on very low ERS.
Yeah, definitely so. And Hawk's obviously now got that job done on Chris. Now, what is the call for the Aston Martins? Because I thought Charlie could be let through. Hawk could easily back Chris up into Charlie, but the thing about that is, Hawk could then back himself up into Zero, and he doesn't want that. Zero's there in no man's land in 10th position, but he's only 2.5 seconds roughly off these guys in front of him. And if Hawk backs Chris up enough into Charlie, I think probably for an eye down the straight in towards turn 13 for a move on Charlie's bar, Charlie has got, I think, very good pace to try and latch on to the back of Chris, onto the back of Hawk. But if I was in Hawk's position, I'd honestly play the team game, because Hawk will be pitting before Charlie regardless, as there's a spinner in the middle sector, and then I think there's Lou round.
Yeah, Lou again, and he's not having his best race. I know China isn't his best race, but yeah, it's not looking good for the defending champion. And Keke, he's right on the back of Rocco there.
He is right on the back of Rocco, down in towards turn 13. 16% of EOS compared to Rocco and 8%, so he's got double the amount of EOS that he can use up. Not with that exit at the final corner. Well, Keki's got no chance down the straight as Rocco pulls away 4 tenths per second. Now they're in 2nd, Keki there in 3rd, MedTC there in 4th as Chris once again on the back of Hawk, running down the straight in towards turn number 1. Not going to be close enough, however he is cutting in a lot quicker this time compared to the last lap around. Might look for a lunge into turn 2. I've certainly risked it in towards turn 2 before. didn't really end up quite well because I was getting very angry in that Chinese Grand Prix. And in fact, it was actually in FRL, the last Chinese Grand Prix I raced in. Certainly not to my liking whatsoever, as Lou has retired from the session. I think he said to me a little bit earlier on that he had pedal problems and brake issues potentially with his brake pedal, so that's why his Lou is potentially at the race.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, but if we go from the back of the grid to the front of the grid, Macho almost 8 seconds ahead of Rocco right now.
He is, but what I'm going to look at now is this battle for... It's 5th and 6th. It's Bunty and Jensen. Jensen has just sauntered onto the back of these guys without really a care in the world. And it's impressive to see. He obviously spun by himself in the first lap of the race. We're now on lap 12. And Jensen's in with a chance of getting second position in this race, which I don't think you would have been saying to me come this point in the race a couple of laps ago. Jensen again on the back, running down in towards turn number 13, doesn't get the job done. Charlie side by side with Chris, perhaps, in towards turn 13 as well. The Aston Martin on the back of the McLaren. McLaren, though, just comes across on him slightly. Charlie has to ride up on the curb there. And Chris and Charlie are side by side, coming out of turn 13, through 14, in toward the left-hander 15. Chris, I thought, was coming in the pit lane there. He outbroke himself completely. And now Charlie going to go for the move on the outside, down the straight, gets the job done. Charlie Fernie's into 8th with a really impressive turn of speed.
Yeah, good move by Charlie, very easy move. And now it's a P7 and P8 for the team of Aston Martin. And I expect Hart to let Charlie by at any moment right now.
Well, he's 1.1 seconds off. Oh, his Bunty has gone very deep and he spins. Nearly into the way of Jensen. Just about recovers that. How on earth he's not ended up with damage there? I do not know. Jensen, I do not know how he hasn't ended up with damage as a result. Bunty spun on the outside curb. He went one way into Jensen, went the other way, got caught on the outside curb, somehow has recovered that car. Yes, he's 2.5 seconds down, but that's already candidate for save of the season.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I think he just lost it. And yeah,
He did.
Very good save by Bunty. And he has a lot of ERS, so he can use that now to get back to the top 5.
He did. He lost it on the outside curb. And to be fair, actually, he's 2.3 seconds off, so he is catching back up to these guys. And METC there in 4th. And Jensen in 5th is certainly probably thinking, my God, I got away with that one. Goodness me, that was close. Certainly to a bit of contact. Macho there leading the way. It's 8.5 seconds now, the gap. Oh, Rocco just doesn't have any pace as Ruti has retired from the race coming out of turn 8.
And that's a safety car, yeah. He was right on board with Ivan there.
And the top 5, sorry to cut in you, the top 5 have missed the pit lane. Bunty and everyone else behind, absolutely perfect for them as actually Charlie continues on. Chris, however, in the pit lane, and also Hawk in the pit lane as well. And that's actually perfect for Hawk, because I think he would have been coming in anyways.
Yeah, Hawk, it's perfect for him, but for Bunty, I know he... Oh my god.
What's happened?
Did he just go, or was it a visual glitch? Oh, I think it is. Okay, I thought he went from the hards to the hards, and
no,
I
mediums.
don't think you can't even do that, but that was a visual glitch there. But yeah, Bunty, let's see how many places he can get now with this pit stop. But as I said, Ivan and Ruti side by side, and I think Ruti just lost the car and spun into the wall.
Yeah, he did. I think Ivan was behind Ruti, if I'm not mistaken, and Ruti, I think, has just ended up maybe getting caught on the outside curb. We're saying outside curbs a lot too much, or I'm certainly saying outside curbs a lot too much in this race. But I think he might have got caught on the outside curb. Coming out of turn number 8, I know it's a very difficult... I'm on board with Hawk, and Bunty actually coming through this part of the track. Bunty will probably be the best. If he gets caught on that inside curb, the car is going to fling outside wide, and then get caught into a spin, basically on the curb. And I think that's what has happened with Ruti, rather than contact with him and Ivo, because I don't think they were running side by side at the time.
No, Ivo was right behind him, I think with his front wheel up to Ruti's rear wheel, but Macho into the pits. That's of course understand. And now Rocco, Keke, METC and Jensen, are they all going into the pits? Yes, they are, of course.
They are, but have they got the time? Well, Macho certainly has got the time to do it, but I'm looking at Ellie, Charlie. Oh, actually, no. forget that, because Charlie's going to come in the pit lane, Pelly's going to come in the pit lane. They have got the time to make that pit stop, and crucially, they're going to be on the sort of medium compound tyres. Macho is the same as well. He's also going to be on that sort of medium compound tyres. So now everyone is pretty much at game point, I think, in this race. We're halfway through. Half of the race still to go. Macho leads the way, Rocco second, Jensen in third, Keki in fourth, MedTC in fifth, coming out of the pit lane. As Bunty, look at him, he's into fifth position. Bunty has gone that lap extra, and there he is in fifth position. MedTC in sixth, Charlie in seventh, Chris in 8th, Zero in 9th, Pelly in P10. Not for long though, because Hawk I think is going to go onto that sort of medium compound of tyres once again. Pelly is going to come out in P10. Hawk is going to be, I think, P12, and Ryan's going to be ahead of him. So Ryan is going to be P10, in fact, actually coming out the pits. Yeah, he does. So Ryan ahead of Pelly. Pelly there in 11th, Hawk in 12th, Ivor in 13th, myself and Yuri taking to the action, of course, once again, here in FRL F1. The Macho, though, leads the way. I'm going to ask you a question now, Yuri. You can say whatever answer that you like. In what position would you want to be in under this safety car here in China?
Well, I mean, I think, are we talking about compound of tire or not, or just...
like race position. Where would you be in this safety car restart?
I think, I mean, Macho, of course, has one of the best positions, and if he can drive away, as he did at the start, he shouldn't be scared about the guys behind him getting DRS after 3 laps.
Yeah, potentially. So I certainly, if I was him, I mean, Macho has had really good pace so far in this race. I'd just be a little bit concerned about Macho. Will he have pace off the restart? Rocco is there. He's an Austrian Grand Prix winner in LOE. Jensen is a season 12 WR champion and multiple champion here, of course, in FRL. Macho has got that pressure to really, really hit on upon in behind. But if I was in a position, honestly, out on track, I'd probably want to be leading the race. I'd want to be in Macho's shoes, because not only can I control the pace, but I can control the factors that happen behind me as well, judging that pace. So if I was anyone, I'd want to be Macho at this point, not only because he's the quickest driver out on track as well.
Yeah, I mean, Macho, he is showing very good pace, and the same for Jensen. He is making a comeback in P3 right now, and he's doing very good.
Yeah, he is doing very good indeed. And Jensen, I mean, if you said to me Jensen will be in third by the halfway point in this race, I would have laughed at you. I really would have, because he obviously spun, he was down in the back of the field, he got caught up in an instant, and now he's P3, and we're talking about him now, Yuri, potentially winning this race.
Yeah, if he shows good pace, after the safety car restart, as he has a spin, oh my god, Jensen! Oh my god!
No!
A commentator's curse all over again.
Oh my god!
Oh.
You can only but laugh. You can only but laugh. Everyone's got an illegal overtake, by the way. I'm not sure how many people are going to have to give up the position. I think everyone has, yeah.
Oh my god.
I was looking down my iPad, so I really didn't see that. I was on board with them at the time. I've just seen a car going off, left-hand side. It's Jensen, safety car in this lap, and potentially from what could have been a race win, is now scraping the barrel for a top 5 finish.
Yeah, I mean, I think, James, it's just the commentator's curse, nothing else he could have done there, but yeah.
I think I just need to end... Go on.
Macho leading right now in the safety car restart. He can control the pace. And when will he go, James? What do you think? Will he go late or not?
He'll go early. The safety car does slow down in towards turn 13. But as soon as it gets into that pit lane, I mean, look at the speed he's carrying. 80 mile an hour, very consistent down the straight. This aims to me, he is going to back everyone up on the exit of turn 13, think of 14, and then go into the final corner. That's where I think he'll go. Safety car is already coming in the pit lane, so Macho doesn't want to bugger up the start here at all, because if he goes now into the hairpin, everyone's probably going to spin around him. And is that exactly what he is doing on the exit? No, he is backing everyone up to a point where he can go, and there we go. out of turn 14, goes in towards turn 15. Macho now leads the way and has got Rocco and Keki already on the back foot, and a great restart by the leader, Macho, who leads the way. Jensen already trying to make a position past Zero. I think that might have been after the start-finish line, if I'm not mistaken. So Jensen is through into P8, back to green flag racing, and Jensen already making up ground. The first position made underneath the safety car restart.
Yeah, easy move from Jensen. That could have been maybe a team call, Zero letting Jensen by, but now is anyone going to make a move here? I don't think anyone is.
No. Chris on the back of Charlie was looking close, but I don't think he's getting close enough.
No. Oh.
Everything okay?
I just heard something. I don't know what it was in my house. Okay. But yeah, so leading the way, Rocco in P2 and Keke in P3.
Well, Portugal's 2-0 up and it's half time, so I don't think it'll be that. By the way, Hoy, everyone there in the chat, I don't know who R is. I have a feeling it is a former driver here in FRL. I don't want to say that out loud because it is a rude name that I'm saying that loud, but do you know who it is?
I think it is something to do with Bunty. I don't know, friends or family or I don't know it anymore.
Jensen on the back of Chris, side by side in towards turn 13. Job done for Jensen. Down the inside line, gets the job done. He's done, he's into 7th. I think Ryan has just got through on Pelly, if I'm not mistaken, as well. He is done, he's into 10th. And Macho already a second outside of Rocco. I thought R, potentially, might have been Harry. As Bunty has spun out the final corner.
Oh, big crash. I think.
He's got away with it.
Does he have rear wing damage? I don't think. Yes.
Is it left side? Left side end plate damage as well? No. No left side end plate damage, but if that car is very unstable, and yeah, he has. You can tell he has. Bunty, unfortunately, they're down in 13th. A spin out the final corner, getting caught on the curb. He's got rear wing damage. There is no shadow of a doubt that he, unless there's a safety car this lap, he, I think, is going to be coming in the pit lane and retiring.
Yeah, rear wing damage. 10 laps to go. It's not looking good for the Haas driver.
Yeah, I think that guy R, by the way, back to my point about who R might be, the mystery man in the chat. I think that might be Harry, who I used to see in TFRL back in the day. Yeah. Not sure if it is, but who knows. Jensen on the back of Charlie, though, has a spin! Jensen spins again! Coming through turn 12, he's got front wing damage, and he is going to be absolutely livid with himself. Jensen, left side end plate damage at around a 30-mile-an-hour crash. He just over-rotated the car, quite simply, just like too much power. He has spun, he's pretty much out the race now, and Bunty might even get ahead of him at this stage as well. Absolute disaster for Jensen. There's plenty more races in the season for him, but this race, China, he can just scrap it out of his memory because it has got not anything to do with his plan tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what is happening.
And Pelly's in the background. Pelly's just crashing in the background. Just saw that in the background of shot switching to Keki, and that's a safety car. And that is a saviour as Rocco and Keki are side by side, coming out of turn number 2 and 3 under the safety car. Rocco is ahead still, and Keki there in 3rd. And actually, as Rocco letting him through, he does. Rocco's had to let Keki through. Keki had the position. It didn't look like he was in front. So Keki's now 2nd and Rocco's 3rd.
Wow, it's a 1-2 for the Mercedes team. Bunty is pitting. Is he going to retire it? Yes.
Yeah.
He is retiring it. And Jensen.
Jensen missed the pit lane.
But Jensen, I mean, he can go to another set of mediums, I think.
He can, but he's... Unless the safety car came out when he was in the final corner, which he might have been, I swear, I really swear Jensen was behind the final corner, so he could have easily came in the pit lane. If not, he's done another lap, and Rocco was spun, trying to fight back with Keki again, and I think Keki's letting them back through. This is weird. Rocco now 2nd, Keki there in 3rd. What on earth is going on?
They are bumping each other. What is going on here between Rocco and Keki? I don't know if they are doing a Sebastian Vettel against Lewis Hamilton in Baku, but it's very weird from both of them.
It comes back to, I think, side by side turns 2 and 3. I have a feeling Keki has been told by the game, potentially, to let Rocco back through into that position. Otherwise, he'd pick up a penalty at a weird point out on track as well, coming down the straight. So I can only imagine Keki has let him through as a result of that to protect himself from getting a penalty by the stewards in the FRL. And if that is the case, it is quite smart. But Rocco doesn't have an illegal overtake. Keki doesn't have an illegal overtake either. Either they've exploited the glitch, or that was just absolutely genuine, and Rocco's now second, and the back through, and sportsmanship has ruled.
Yeah, Jensen, by the way, in the pits. Let's see, will we go to that new set of mediums
Softs.
or maybe the softs?
I think it might be softs. What, 7 laps to the end? Gotta be. Surely softs. Mediums.
I think it's mediums, yeah. I don't know what the degradation here in China is with the softs, but I think every circuit it's pretty high, so I think the mediums is a good call, of course, knowing that he is the championship leader and one of the faster guys, so he can make a comeback on those mediums.
Yeah, if anybody can do it, it's Jensen, and he's got 6 lap fresher tyres than every single person out on track, bar, of course, everyone who put in a lap later after the other safety car came in. Macho leads the way, Rocco in second, Keki in third. We will have the safety car at least out one more lap because Jensen's on the other side of the track at this stage. But Macho there, leading the way, Rocco in second. I'm going to come back to the point that I made a little bit earlier on under the first safety car restart. Whose position would you want to be in now? Is it Macho's again, or is it somebody else?
Well, of course, Machos is one of the better position, but one thing that I think Macho is really upset about is that his teammate isn't in P2, because if Keke was in P2, he could have backed off and he could have helped Macho a lot.
Yeah, definitely so. I think, yeah, Macho has got the entirety, I think, of this race to now hold Rocco up, get Keke potentially into second position. And as I say, I don't know what happened between both Rocco and Keke. I can only think a glitch in the game has caused Keke to give the position back to Rocco, and Rocco's now in second, Keke there in third. And if that has been done, it's very good sportsmanship, first and foremost, because they would have, I think, picked up a penalty in the steward's room. And Macho there has now got control of this race once again. He can determine what speed he goes at, what the factors are in behind in terms of his speed and in terms of this safety car restart. And yet again, I would be in his position, because I mean, he was nearly 2 seconds clear on that last safety car restart, and now he's back to square one and back with everyone in inside of a second of it.
Yeah, I'm just going through the Discord chats from the F1 channel, and not many nice things are said there. So,
Yeah, and I've just put my hat into the ring there by saying, just sort that in the steward's room, and every race has instance. You will not get, I guarantee, unless somebody in the chat, oh, we've got a migrating host, you've just left the lobby, I think. Oh no, Bunty's left the lobby. I thought you were hosting for some reason. Bunty's left the lobby. God hope it's none of our connections. Hopefully OBS doesn't go down. Safety car will certainly be in this lap. There. Safety car will be in this lap. And now Macho once again, virtual monitor, virtual safety car. And he is now, of course, controlling this race from the front. Papine there saying in the chat as well, he is very much not a happy bunny. Stewards apparently don't care. They do care. Report the incident, otherwise nothing's done. Simple as.
Yeah, look at the gap. Rocco is letting a big gap. I think he needs to warm up his tires, and this is a very big gap. What's Rocco doing?
Rocco is right behind Macho, actually, on my end.
What?
He's right behind him. He's literally about 0.3 of a second away from him.
Oh, I think my game glitched because of Fanty probably leaving as he is the host.
Oh no, don't say you're the host now. That'll be... Hopefully it'll end at the end of this race. Hopefully you just leave the lobby at the end of this race and I can keep on continuing commentating right to the end and bring the action that of course everyone deserves. But who knows what's going to happen. And Macho, is he going to go already? Coming out of 14? Not quite. He's actually waiting a little bit longer this time, Macho. Now he says go, and Chris is already through on Charlie. They're going to have to swap positions. Charlie dropping all the way down the field, actually. Macho leads the way at the final corner, though. Great restart once again. He's timed it to perfection. Has MetTC timed this run on Keki to perfection. To the inside line. On turn number 1 goes the Alpine on the back of the Mercedes. Alpine there up the inside line, up the inside curb. Now through turn number 2. Fortunate favour the Brave, and MetTC tries to go down the inside line. Keki on the outside line. Little bit of contact. Keki is still there on the inside line, though. I think the Alpine might just come out on top. MetTC has mastered Keki, I think, there. Gets the job done. Is Keki going to come back at him in towards turn 5? No, he's not. MetTC into 3rd, and that was all developed off that safety car restart as Charlie is dropping down the field once again. Has he made contact with somebody, Charlie? Is he dropping down the field because of damage?
I don't know. He made a mistake, I think, before the line and ghosted. Now he's in P10, but I don't know if I think it's wrong, but Macho is 16 seconds ahead of Rocco right now. So
yeah, that's a glitch.
Yeah, that's pretty much a glitch. And I think Jensen, he is making places. He right beside Ryan. Is it going to work around the outside? And does he have the grip?
Oh, beautiful.
Beautiful move by Jensen, up to P7.
Really good. MetTC is now coming at Rocco again for 2nd position, and MetTC now on the back of Rocco just doesn't have any straight line speed down the straight. MetTC to the inside line. F1 Esports challenges DNFer here in China. Gets the job done. He's into 2nd. Fortunate favour the Brave once again for MetTC. He's into 2nd. Rocco there in 3rd. Keki in 4th. Jensen, by the way, did get that job done on Ryan very easily indeed. And now he sets his sights on his teammate Zero, and I think they're going to let each other through down in towards turn number 1. Zero pulls off to the left-hand side. Should be Jensen for the move, and Jensen does indeed get the job done. He is through and he's into 2nd. And now we can focus, in fact, on Chris, Keki, Rocco. Do not rule out Jensen for 2nd position here.
Yeah, Jensen, he is driving a very good comeback after that spin. And I'm really wondering where what the pace of Jensen would have been compared to Macho. I don't know how many seconds is he ahead of MetTC right now?
I'll come back to that in a bit. Ryan's on the back of Sable coming in towards turn number 5. Doesn't get the job done. Gap's 1.5 seconds between Macho and MetTC.
1.5, so yeah, it would be fun to find out where Jensen would be compared to Macho's pace right now if he didn't have that spin from P3.
Yeah, Jensen right on the back of Chris as well. Coming out of turn number 10, he looks on it now, I've got to say. Jensen, this is how you recover from 2 spins, getting front wing damage, being at the back of the safety car train at the start of the safety car queue, and now he's going to go for the move on Chris coming through turn number 12. Gets the job done. Chris is all out of shape completely. Jensen already through and he's into 5th. DRS is going to be enabled in the next lap. And unfortunately for Jensen, he might just be out of DRS range compared to Keki and Rocco, who are scything each other down in towards turn 13. Doesn't get the job done. Jensen's still there in 5th position. But if Jensen's tyres are anything to be believed, he is going to have around 20% fresher tyres at this stage compared to Keki and Rocco. This now is game on for Jensen if he wants to try and get this 2nd position. And do you know what? Even if he wants to try and get this race win.
Yeah, I mean, that tyre advantage of Jensen is a very big factor for him getting up the field, but Keke, he is right behind Rocco, and Rocco, oh wait, that's also, I think, oh no, it isn't. He's almost 1 second behind MetTC. If MetTC can pull this gap, Rocco, Keke, and then Jensen will battle for P3.
Yeah, definitely so. Yeah, Rocco is 9 tenths per second behind MetTC. MetTC is 1.9 now behind Macho, and Macho was just sailing away, quite literally, out in front. MetTC there in 2nd, Rocco there in 3rd. Jensen has gained a bit of time on this lap. However, he is not gaining enough to be within DRS range, I don't think, this lap around. And that is going to hurt Jensen quite a lot more than what it would hurt Keki and Rocco, currently there in 3rd and 4th position at this stage in this race. But Macho leading the way now, 2 seconds the gap from MetTC. Keki though on the back of Rocco, the Brit against the Finn. These guys I have seen fight before. They fought very well, and Keki this time around is just going to absolutely sail on by down the straight. That is what 0 Wings potentially can do for you. Keki through and he's into 3rd very easily indeed.
Yeah, good move by Keki and making it a double podium for Mercedes, MetTC in P2, and Rocco he is. I don't know. I think this is another glitch. But Rocco, he is getting a bit out of shape. Already 7.5 tenths. Well, 7 tenths right now behind Keke. And Jensen, he needs to push now because this is the moment to get within the DRS of Rocco.
I think you were right. I think he did have a bit of a moment coming out the final corner. And again, look, the snap of oversteer there coming out of turn number 4. Now it's down towards turn number 5. Rocco is pretty much under pressure now from Jensen. And Jensen there, 5-lap pressure tyres. As I say, that's going to be around anywhere between a 15 to 20% difference in terms of the tyre life around here. But Jensen, the thing with him is, he's there in 5th position. Rocco is ahead of him out on track, and Rocco now, all of a sudden, looks like he's got the pace, even though that red light on the back of that McLaren is flashing. Jensen sees a bit of danger in front of him, and that danger is Rocco coming right back into his lap.
Yeah, Rocco... Oh, did he just... Oh no.
No.
I think he had another moment there, but Jensen... He is pushing, he is very much pushing, but Keke on the back of Matty. Oh, this is, I think, another glitch. I think Matty C. I think every glitch that you can imagine right now.
Oh God. Macho's 2.4 ahead of MedTC. MedTC is 6/10 of a second ahead of Keke. There in 3rd. Rocco there in 4th. It's 8/10 of a second, and now Jensen right on the back of him coming down in towards turn 1. Look at the speed that Jensen's carrying down the straight. The Fantarry pulls to the inside line. This is easy. Jensen through and he's into 4th. Parks the car to perfection on the inside of the curb. Jensen through and he's into 4th, but he is absolutely mowing his way through the field. 3 laps to go. No safety cars, I don't think, to the end of this race now, unless we do get a safety car on this lap, of course, and it's Michael Massey does go for 1 lapper. Matcha, though, leads the way. MedTC second, Keke there in 3rd, Jensen there in 4th. Jensen has got a chance of P2. It looks really unlikely, though. I think he's got a hold from mistakes happening in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, Jensen, I don't know how he has the most ERS of everyone around him. He was the one to make the comeback, and he's on 22% ERS. So if he can keep this up, if he can get enough speed on Keke, like he had on Rocco into turn 1, he can make that move on him.
Yeah, definitely so. And Jensen there has got a lot of pace, even though he drained half of his battery down the straight. That's a huge moment from Keke right in front of him, all out of shape. Jensen realises that, but doesn't go for the move. Doesn't want to commit at this stage. I think it's P3 or bust, I think, for Jensen in terms of this race. And how on earth can I just say he is P3 in this race, or P4 currently in this race, looking at P3. I do not know how he has got to that. That is just Jensen through and through. And now this is the move potentially for P3, because look at the speed once again. The AlphaTauri on the back of the Mercedes. Is he going to be close enough? Yes. Looks to the inside line. Tries to put Keke under a bit of pressure. Down the inside line at turn number 1. Now for the inside of turn number 2. Gets the elbows out. Keke's there still on the inside line. Coming through turn 2. Through turn 3. That is a master of craft. Jensen through and he's into 3rd. How on earth he is doing this, I do not know. It is very impressive to see. This is class driving from Jensen, and he's through and he's into 3rd, passing Keke.
Yeah, I think that was one of maybe overtake of the season. But Jensen, that's a very big move, but also a very important move, because now he has 2 laps to fight Matty C and get P2 in this race.
He's close enough to the back of MedTC, and of course, these guys have been teammates in the past here in FRL as well. I think the last season I certainly covered as Hawk has picked up, unbelievably, the first 3-second penalty of tonight, which is unheard of going into that 27 out of 28. MedTC, I think, judging by the time that he's got nearly a second to Jensen. I do not see Jensen getting this move for second done down the straight, or certainly next lap around. I think Jensen might just settle for 3rd. If, though, MedTC wants to try and battle him, he is backing up circumspectly. And I wonder if he's going to have a go, Jensen's going to have a go down in towards turn number 1 once again. MedTC very slow out the final corner. Now within 0.5 of a second, it gives me the hint that he might be just waiting up and letting Jensen have a go at him. That's a bit ridiculous if that is the case.
I hope, and I don't think that's the case, but Matty C, he is losing a lot of pace now, and Jensen, I think he wants that P2, he's very hungry for it. He is on 13% ERS, so he also has more ERS than Matty C, so he can make that move into the hairpin.
Yeah, this will be turn 13 or bust, I think, for Jensen and for second position out on track. Wait to see, takes the wide right line. Jensen, much thinner line, gains him the time coming through the S section, and this is on for Jensen. This second position is on. He's got Keki for a second. All he needs to worry about is the man ahead of him. The Finn, his former friend and teammate here in FRL, is there in second, and now he's got to get a podium regardless of this race, regardless of the stewarding. Jensen right on the back of MedTC. Macho is looking in a contra side as MedTC has a huge moment coming out of turn number 12. This has opened the open door for Jensen to sail on by. It is much easier than what I even thought. Jensen Thuni's into second, sails down the straight, has got too much straight line speed. MedTC is going to be unfortunately down in third after that mistake. He is going to be living with himself. Somebody that isn't living with himself though is Macho. As long as he takes the final corner, he is going to win in real dominant fashion. The Chinese Grand Prix through the final corner on the run to the line. Macho wins again in FRL, and he's won it by a good 1.6 seconds over there. Jensen in second, MedTC in third. I think out of frustration, there's a huge crash coming across the line. McLaren just skirting off there onto the grass. Ivo across the line to finish there in 11. We'll run through the full grid order in just a second. But my goodness me, MedTC makes a mistake, hands Jensen second position on an absolute plate. And Jensen, I think very rightly, gets driver of the day.
Yeah, I mean, a very good comeback. Of course, those mistakes were unfortunate for him, but he drove like a champ, and I think he is very happy with this P2.
He will be over the moon with this P2. A man that I think is going to be slightly happier with him, though, is Macho, taking that P1 finish, rocking his way, quite literally, to the top step of the podium. Great celebration, though. I do rate that, to be honest, from Macho. He does take the race win. An absolute great drive, a dominant drive, you could argue as well. Even though the two safety cars put him under pressure, Macho does indeed take this race win. And if Jensen, it's if buts and maybes, but if Jensen didn't have that spin, Yuri, and didn't have that spin again underneath the safety car, is there a big argument that he could have actually won this race?
Yeah, I mean, I think that could be the biggest what-if moment of the season already. But yeah, I think he could have gotten Macho 1.6 seconds behind him, and he was looking very fast. And as I'm seeing this right now, as you said, a half is the only one with a penalty, so that's very interesting also.
Yep, great job from everyone out on track. Macho takes the fastest lap, takes the race win in dominant fashion from Jensen there in second. If buts and maybes for him in second. MedTC there in third, Keki there in fourth, Rocco there in fifth. Charlie, by the way, 16th on the grid up to sixth. Good drive from him. Chris, Zero, Ryan, Hawk top 10. Ivo, Bunty, Pelly, Ruti, Lou, Dundee and Papine all DNF'd at various points in that race. Only a handful of finishers in the end, but a great drive nonetheless. And we can now speak, quite rightly, to the man who finished in P1. It is Mr. NSX Macho, and Macho in the end, even with the safety cars, even with the trouble that Rocco proved you underneath those safety cars, it was done in dominant style. Talk us through it.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a banging start, as you can see. Then after, I think after lap 1, I already had the second gap, so I was out of the DRS for everyone. Then I just started doing my laps and putting in all the work. Yeah, I guess I was 10 seconds clear at one point. When the safety car came, I obviously wasn't that happy, but yeah, I cleared the second again, and then another safety car. When obviously like Jensen went to new medium, so my mediums were already been to burn, and I already said like, oh damn, this is gonna actually be pretty close, I guess. But yeah, nonetheless, P1, pretty happy with it.
P1, you should be very happy with it indeed. And as I say, I think it was done arguably in a bit of dominant style as well, because you pulled out more, as you say, there's a 10-second gap in that first stint. It's again a bit of if buts and maybes, but if those safety cars didn't come out, would you have won this race by about 20 seconds?
No. Jensen had pretty good pace, so he would have probably. Well, I don't know if he would have actually finished P2, but I say probably, and it would have maybe been still 10 seconds, but it doesn't matter if it's 10 or 1, I guess.
It doesn't matter, indeed. It was, I think, absolutely fabulous to watch. It was, as I say, quite dominant in terms of your pace, in terms of your raw ability, I think, out on track. And of course, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, a little birdie has told me, I'm just going to get the standings up just to confirm it, but I think you are the championship leader going into next week. So how is that pressure with you now being 2 points ahead of Jensen going into next week?
I don't know what track it is. What track is it?
Monaco.
Next week it is. Is it Monaco? Oh God.
It is. It is Monaco.
Oh, no.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Well, it's a decent track for me, but I know Jensen is very quick around there, so I mean it's gonna be a fun battle, I guess.
Yeah, hopefully it will be a fun battle indeed. Yuri, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Well, I don't have any questions, but I want to say very dominant win and congratulations on your P1 here in China.
Thank you, and thanks for comms, guys.
You are very welcome indeed. Just before we interview Jensen, I've just received a comment there on the chat from R, Mystery Man R. Not sure if anybody knows who he is. Hoi, my lovelies, I hope you are enjoying the race. Bunsey will not be happy with a DNF. Never mind.
Bunty's mom.
It's Bunsey's mum. It might be Bunsey's mum.
I think that's what it is. What? Right?
Oh, well,
yeah. The parrot
well,
is saying, "Hold Bunty's mom."
I've just called her Harry, I think, at the start of the stream. So there we go. We all think of Mads, and that's the important thing. Well done to you all. Well done, Macho, and good night, everyone. Until next time, with a kiss at the end. Very good to see those comments as well. And of course, everything tonight has been done with Mads' memory firmly at the centre of attention for tonight. And we are now going to speak to the man who finished in P2. It is Jensen. And Jensen, how on earth you finished P2 in this race? I do not know. Talk us through it.
Yeah, that was such a bad but fun race. You know, I don't know what happened lap 1. The car just I lost a tyre. It seemed to have lots of issues at the rear end around. Kind of might be the setup, but didn't have much time to really go about the setup, to be honest. But yeah, it was fun making the little comeback on the drives in both the first stint and the last stint as well, especially the last stint from P11 to P2 and how many laps, 7 or 8. So it was really good fun to get P2 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the boys, the brewery, which is also very nice.
Yeah, also very nice indeed. Talk us through those spins. First of all, the first lap, I think you already mentioned, but that safety car spin, what on earth happened coming out of turn number 5? Because I was sitting down looking at my iPad and then literally look up and you've spun down in P12.
Yeah, I do not know what happened. Don't know, it's just very cold tyres on that one. The formation, I don't know why the formation lap's on, because it's not entirely fixed still, to be honest. To start with I can get my tyres up to 85 degrees or something. I start with mid 70s or 80 degrees, which is a bit annoying, but yeah, it's still my fault, I think, just for that one. But yeah, the second one, I'm under the safety car as well. Lost traction, tried catching the car and it just went the other way. I lost it again, and trying to make another comeback, and then I got damage from that. So the safety car pretty much saved me from probably picking up 1 point if I was going to go for the fastest lap down there. Yeah, in the end I managed to get P2 out of that, which I'll be happy with.
Yeah, I think, honestly, in terms of that race, I think you should be happy with P2 in your finishing position. Yuri, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, first, I want to come to that one moment. I think maybe you got a heart attack or something, because Bunty, I think he spun right in front of you and almost collected you into the wall.
Yeah, very lucky to avoid that. It almost crashed me out there. Hold on. Wait, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
My connection's a little bit bad to see, but yeah, almost got collected by him. I just backed off and tried pulling to the most right as possible, managed to avoid him. Just about keeping the DRS in front and get the fight, but yeah. Without mistakes, I definitely could have fought Macho, I think, but I've definitely enjoyed racing through the pack, and I'm sure if Mads is up there looking down here, I've really enjoyed that. So,
Yeah, he certainly did. And then, of course, the last question. Next week, it is Monaco. Just tell me, are you good at Monaco?
I mean, Monaco, like alongside China, Monaco is the other track I haven't done a single race at on this game. So, but I'm doing it in PSGL next week, so definitely get some good practice in for that, which should be all right. Hopefully won't bottle it or anything like that. Try and get my first Monaco win in FRL, which has just been long awaiting. So, yeah, see what I could do, but yeah.
Well, that's all my questions. Congratulations on a very good comeback and P2.
Cheers, thanks for the comms, as always.
You are very welcome indeed, and hopefully we're going to get a few words from our man in P3. It is MedTC, and MedTC, first of all, I'm going to come across to you and say, was that P2 yours without that mistake on the final lap?
Probably not. Can you hear me, by the way?
We can.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So yeah, like I had a quite a high wing setup, so like I knew I was gonna be in trouble, but yeah, the mistake just cost me the second. And I also made quite a few mistakes after passing Rocco and Keke, so yeah, I think those costed me the second.
Yeah, I think honestly, I saw that mistake coming on the final lap of the race, and it's just sort of your car just sort of like snapped. I think coming out of turn number 12. Was that what happened?
Yeah, pretty much just like slightly lost the backhand grip, and yeah, that was about it. Like just about caught it, and yeah. Next thing I saw was Jensen passing me, so not too ideal.
Not too ideal, especially because you are former teammates, of course, here in FRL. But P3 for you, you still must be quite happy with the result, though, given that you've obviously ended up on the podium after where you DNF'd, of course, around here in F1 Esports Challengers.
Yeah, like I'm also happy about like the pole because I got a PS5 last Friday, or bought one, and like the pace seems much better like already. So yeah, I'm like pleased with the pace, and I'll see how I can do.
There we go. For anybody that's watching it in F2 or F3, buy a PS5. You'll get like MedTC and you'll set pole position in China, certainly.
Yeah.
Yuri, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, to the qualification, you got pole position. Did you expect to get pole here in China?
Well, during practice I was matching pace with Jensen and Macho, so I thought I had a good chance. But yeah, I didn't expect a pole, maybe like a fourth, third, something like that. But well, I'll take the pole. So yeah.
Yeah, and then of course the last question. Next week it is Monaco. Are you confident for next week?
Well, I guess as always, I'll see how I'll do. And yeah, that's about it. Hoping for another pole, maybe second on the race, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on P3, and go on and enjoy your evening.
Well, you too, guys. thanks about the comms. So yeah.
You are
Anyway,
Yeah, you are very welcome indeed. Now I have to go through the grid and see who's next on my hit list. I think it might be FRL Charlie, if I'm not mistaken, finishing on my end, by the way, in P6. There was a glitch, I believe, on his end, which didn't put him in the right position, certainly on Yuri's end as well. But P6 from you, 16th on the grid up to 6th, must be happy with the result.
I haven't finished the race. But it wasn't. It's not a glitch on mine because on my screen, I stayed P6. I didn't move anywhere, so it's clearly the glitch with the host again leaving the session because obviously this week Bunty hosted instead of Yuri. But I was hoping I could hang on to that top 5 because obviously that's what Jensen spun, but somehow he got in the P7 within like 1 lap, which was a bit disappointing. But to be fair, people probably let him by because I don't think a lot of people would decide to put up a fight, and neither did I really. But it's definitely a result I'm happy with because it's, again, the highest place I finish again, and I wasn't expecting to finish any higher or in the same position in the rest of the season. I was probably expecting like P9 or something this race, but with all the safety cars and DNFs, that really helped me in this race.
You did have solid pace, though, I've got to say, in this race. And me and Yuri were certainly arguing in the commentary. Hawk was in front of you for a majority of that first half of the race. Were you in a party with them? And what was being said if you were? Were the instructions for Hawk to go for, I think it was Chris that was in front? Or was it to let him through?
We're never in a party chat.
Okay. So
maybe we should do that next time. Actually, not next time, but for Silverstone we should.
So you should, yeah, you might do. You never know where you're going to be. I think next week in Britain, Silverstone. But final question for me before I hand you over to Yuri. Obviously, from P16 up to 6th position, what's the goal going forward for the rest of the season? Because obviously we've got Monaco next week, but what's the goal further on? Is it to pick up more consistent results?
I want to say try get at least a podium by the end of the season, but I don't think that's possible if you're going to have Jensen, Macho, and all that finish the races. Really, I think I'm just looking to try be as consistent as I can in the points this whole season.
Yeah, it's certainly a good goal, I think, certainly to aim for. And if you do get a podium, you can't really call me a jinx because you said that out of your own mouth. If you come back and do get a podium a little bit later on in the season. Yuri, any questions?
Well, not really on the race, but of course, next week it is Monaco's. Same question for you. How are you feeling about that track?
Well, I had the fast slap in F2 last season, which was actually quicker than the F1 fast slap, so possibly another P6, because my racecraft was actually very good there last season in F2, considering it was quite late as well for me on the game. So I have confidence, but it's a bit annoying that we have Monaco, in my opinion, because I know that's just going to be it's just going to be a wreck fest over there.
You know, I mean, it is F1, so we should see high driving standards, of course, from everyone. And I just want to say something. I think, did Pepijn get banned from the league? Just a quick question for everyone, because I'm seeing this now.
I think he did.
Well,
Unless...
Charlie, going back to the interviews, thank you for racing and congratulations on your P6.
Thank you.
Yeah, certainly. Flex has just put in a message, by the way, in the chat saying he was P11, it got glitched, and apparently you weren't P6, Charlie, but I'm sure you were.
It's him being a dickhead, let's just say.
Apologies about the fruitful language that has just been behold.
Okay.
We are not past the 9 o'clock watershed here in the UK. We are in the Netherlands, not past the 9 o'clock watershed here in the UK. That is for sure. But the final man that we're going to come on to, of course, finishing there in P10, down there in the bottom end of the points, which is always good to see, is Mr. FRL Hawk. And Hawk, in P10, qualified P15, must be happy with the final point scoring result.
I mean, not bad considering that I didn't have like a full setup. I think P10 was decent enough. Could have been P9 maybe, but still, points are better than nothing.
Points are better than nothing. Indeed, talk us through obviously that battle that you had with Charlie and Chris, because that was getting quite tasty before the safety car came out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think I was only one out of 3 drivers to pick the mediums for a start. I think Ivo and Pepin also chose for mediums. So I knew that I had to make up ground quickly, which I managed to do with 7 positions in the first lap. And yeah, I was just stuck behind Chris and Ivo for a time. Then Ivo killed himself, so I was only stuck behind Chris. Obviously, I saw Charlie being directly behind me, but I just wasn't sure if he was fast enough to pass me, Chris, and then bridge that, I don't know, I think like 5-second gap to the lead group. So because of that, I felt like, I kept up with Chris, gave Charlie some free DRS, so I don't think giving him a position there would have changed anything in the long term.
Yeah, that's what I was certainly saying in commentary, because I was certainly saying, I think you gapped a second, if I'm not mistaken, to Chris, and then Charlie got through. And then I was like, well, maybe they're going to swap the positions. Then the safety car came out and just ruined that whole entire thing that we're going through on the stream. But still, P10, obviously, the same question that I asked as well to, I think it was, who was it that I've just interviewed? It was Mr. Charlie. Long-term goal for this season, what is your aim?
Getting a podium in F1 would be quite nice. I think Monaco and Britain are 2 of my favorite tracks, especially Monaco. So if I can get my, just keep my nose clean, drive through the carnage, then maybe a podium. If not, then I set it for top 5.
Top 5, interesting stuff indeed. Yuri, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, I think it is. Was it next week, and then Silverstone will be your last 2 races, right, of the season?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you said you would like a podium. Do you think it will be in Monaco or in Britain? Which one will you give higher chances for yourself?
I mean, I think it all kind of depends on qualifying, because that's always been my Achilles heel. I actually have setups for both of those tracks, so if I can qualify well enough in Monaco, then that should already be 50% done. Like if I can start in the top 8, then I think I have a good shot. If not, Britain is quite a decent track for me. I think both tracks have equally high or low chances of me getting a podium.
Yeah. Well,
then again, maybe if the F1 drivers all come together and want to be nice to me, if I can just, all pull over on the last lap and let me through, I'd always be up for that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can bribe them or something, but I mean, still, you got the points, and that's better than nothing. And go on and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, and thanks for commentating as always.
You are very welcome indeed. And we actually have one more man to speak to. He snuck in right at the back end there in P11 in the end. It is Mr. FRL Ivo, or VPR Ivo, I think, as you've got on your Discord name now. And Ivo, not the race you would have liked, I think, finishing outside of the points and down there in 11. Talk us through
it. Yeah, the race just didn't have the pace. Yeah, just drive behind. I don't know, it was Hawk, I think. And then there were 2 guys battling in front of me, and then I outbrake myself and I hit it. Chris, I think it was, and then I had damage. So I had to come in and just drive my own race then. And then there was a safety car because Rookie crashed, I think. And yeah, after the restart, just already saw I didn't have to pay, so just had to hope for someone to crash so I could get P10.
Yeah, in the end, wasn't to be. Obviously, talk us to that moment in, I think it was down into turn 13 with Chris. I'm assuming you just outbroke yourself.
Yeah, they were battling, and I thought Chris was backing out of it, so he was braking to the left, and I saw it too late because I was already braking, and yeah, I don't know how he braked so hard, and then I just tried to avoid him, but yeah, then I hit him.
Yeah, it's a difficult one because we certainly caught on board with that of I think it was Jensen's rear wing, if I'm not mistaken, and Jensen got the job done on Chris. And I think it's so difficult of a corner. The car on the
Yeah.
outside is always going to turn in on you into the corner, and you just get scared almost down into the braking zone. And I think that's why you might have just cascaded into the back. And obviously, if there's a
Yeah.
steward's report, then the stewards will have a look at that. I am absolutely sure. Yuri, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Well, not really about the race, and then of course, Monaco next week. Let's make it short. Good or bad?
When I was on medium traction, I was good, but I didn't drive it to a line only, so I have to practice for it, and I don't know what my pace is gonna be.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for racing tonight, and go
Thank you
on
for commentating.
enjoy the evening.
Yeah, you are very welcome indeed, and yeah, do indeed go and enjoy evening. That is what everyone can do now because we've reached the end of tonight's live stream here in FRL. A little bit more, by the way, on Papine. He is showboating there on Twitter, and I will read out his statement. He has made some decisions after today. He'll stop with league racing. I don't know when I should restart. Could be 2 weeks or 3 months. Don't know. Don't really get what 2 weeks and 3 months has to do with it, but still, it's not based on one race. If someone is thinking like that, the last 2 weeks, every race I got screwed. It feels like wasting time now. So that's an official line from Papine on a social media, which I've just read out, and he's shared actually in the Discord as well. So Papine, it seems like he has unfortunately left the league as a result of incidents that we can only assume have been caused for tonight's racing. And normally I would say, yeah, he can do that. It's obviously his opinion if he does want to do that, but we want to see the best driving. We want to see the best drivers here in FRL F1. And Papine, I am sure, will come to his senses. If he's watching the stream still, I hope he is. I hope there is some sense in the decision. I hope that he can just take a night off, maybe have a sleep on it, maybe come back feeling refreshed, and hopefully hope for a better race next week. And if that is the case, I'd be delighted to see him back. But judging by that, Yuri, he's not going to be back probably for the first part of the season at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a thing with the guys leaving. Most of the time, I think 9 out of 10 times that it happens, people come back after maybe 2 days or something. So let's hope it will be the same with Pepijn.
Yeah, as I say, I've honestly been in a situation where, and some of these guys know in the chat, where I've been frustrated in the past. I like to take it out on people, that's for sure. And I normally just literally close everything off, have a think about it, realise that the need for racing is there, and then come back the week after feeling refreshed and try your best. And that's what we can hope for Papine. Certainly, I'd like to see him back. I'm sure everyone here would like to see him back there as well. But obviously, it's his decision, and if he wants to take that decision, then of course it is up to him. We are going to have a look then at the calendar that is coming up. I've got an absolute treat next week because not only I'm doing PSGL in Monaco, I'm also doing FRL for Monaco as well. Next week, I might just call off sick potentially. There might not be a stream next week if that is the case. But Monaco next week, Yuri, the jewel in the crown, the absolute pinnacle of motorsport. Everyone wants to win Monaco. What can we expect in Monaco?
I mean, it will be. I just hope, and that's what I always hope. Of course, Monaco, it's a street circuit. It's one of the circuits where you can have an easy crash. But I just hope that the driving standards will be high, and that we can get some clean racing and some hopefully some good overtakes. Probably not a lot, but maybe a few into the hairpin or into the chicane.
Yeah, potentially so. I mean, I don't want to showboat or anything, but I have seen many a move around the outside of Massenet and Casino Square. So if anybody can pull off that, you are going down in possibly one of my top 5 overtakes of any league racing commentary. If anybody decides to pull off that, I'd love to see it. I don't think anyone's got the bottle to potentially in terms of the final the racing there into Macedonia. I remember though, I'm not sure if Jensen remembers, you I think did a move around the outside.
I did many moves around the outside actually, so don't write me off.
Don't write him off, indeed. He'd be too far ahead, I think, by the end of lap 3 for him to be even worrying about an outside move around the outside of Casino Square. Of course, 38 laps next week as well. But of course, we come back to the sole reason that we have done this live stream in the manner that we have done it as well. And that is to remember this man here. It is Mr. Mad Sabi Anderson. Of course, tragically passed away a year ago. It doesn't even feel like a year, personally. Everything has been done in his honour, in his respectfulness, in his absolute dedication for FRL. I'm sure he has looked down on this racing and he has enjoyed what he has watched, and I hope you guys at home have enjoyed what you have got to watch as well. Because in the end, differences aside, out on track, we are doing everything tonight for Mads. Everything is going to be in his honour, and of course, as I mentioned on the stream, the 24 Hours of F1 event that's coming up in around about a week and a half's time, that is also going to be dedicated to him, because one of the charities is going to be in his name, the British Heart Foundation, which I'm going to be absolutely delighted to look at in terms of the racing there as well. But of course, differences aside, we can argue, we can do no matter what with our lives. In the end, you just have to look at that man there and realise what an absolute soul he was for FRL, and realise that everything tonight was done for him in his honour, and I'm absolutely proud to end off the stream in the way that we are doing right now. So without further ado, I'm going to end off the stream here. Thank you so much for watching FRL F1 tonight. We will race for Mads, and we will always race for Mads. Thank you so much for watching, and until next week in Monaco, in the